Hello and welcome back to today's Hurricane Outlook and discussion recorded on the 14th of November 2020. Today we'll be looking at Tropical Storm Iota that has formed over the period of today and evening. If we take a look at the IR loop, we can see what's been happening today. We've had some good convection firing around the centre of the system, near the low level centre and the mid level centre. They're not totally aligned right now, but they maybe the low level centre will kind of get tucked back in underneath the mid level centre if the convection is stronger near the mid level centre. Hopefully then the low level centre will get more underneath the mid level centre and then they can vertically stack. What I mean by vertically stack is where we have the low level centre and mid level centre vertically stacked. So this means more we can have falls and the fall in pressure can be more deeper and quicker when these things are vertically aligned. So this allows more air to rise up from the bottom and then get spread out and then come back down and then go back into this, come back into the thing. If we take a look at the intensity, most of the models are in agreement that this could become our next major hurricane of this season, as the H1 ship and H-Wolf. And I think that's the coat as well. If we take a look at the track, there's still some divergence in where this could potentially go. There has been a trend more of a northward trend in some of the models. The H-Wolf is still being the more bullish one today, and it's keeping the system going north and then coming near to the Yucatan. The UK Met's now starting to go with that north turn, but it's inland. The semi is now bringing it to the north. The H1 is bringing it to the north. Some of the models are keeping this south and then diving it into Central America and then coming out in the Eastern Pacific. If we take a look at the 850 millbar relative vorticity product. Jesus, that was a mouthful. What we want to be looking for is these higher reds and whites here. For example, Tropical Storm Theta has a good blob of white and red showing. This means that there's a stronger vorticity signature here. And we are starting to see that happening with Tropical Storm Iota today, where it's becoming more compact and the vorticity is getting more stronger. If we take a look at the models today for the GFS with 500 millibar geopotential height, we can see what the steering current is going to be like for the next 24 hours. If I go to 24 hours, what we've got is pretty much a strong high pressure sitting over the central Gulf of Mexico, moving eastwards, and by the next 12 hours it's going to be sitting over Florida pretty nicely. So what's going to be happening is Florida's going to be getting some nice dry air so they can recover from Tropical Storm Iota that made landfall. But what we are seeing here is Tropical Storm Iota here becoming more organised in the higher atmosphere. So this means this storm is deepening quicker, it's becoming more stronger, and unfortunately there's more impacts that can be coming out from this system. What we can see is this high pressure can be sitting across the Gulf of Mexico, driving the system west. As we can see by this flow, it's going to be coming west. But what happens with stronger systems, they tend to move more northward, and the weaker systems can just carry on that west trajectory. If we carry on moving out on the model, we can see that high pressure is building over to the east, sitting over Florida. Still, the steering flow is generally out of the west, but a stronger system, like the GFS is showing here, will try and move just north and try and push northward. As we can see in the model, as we go in time, the storm becomes more organised, more deep, and more stronger in the mid to high atmosphere. As we carry on going to 84 hours, we can start to see it maybe just starting to slow down, as a stronger system tends to do. When it comes to stronger system, it tends to slow down, but not much. It's not going to totally stall out, we can see on this model, it's not going to be totally stalling out near Honduras and Nicaragua. If we carry on with the model, we can see by this time there's some uncertainty as with the steering flow. If this system is a stronger system, we can see a high pressure here, high pressure here, an upper level low that's sitting over here. Ooh, just a upper level low that's going to be sitting over here. This high pressure though is going to be trying to push the storm to the south. This high pressure is going to be trying to build and trying to push back in a bit to the west, or I think. Let me just check that real quick. And this high pressure is going to be pushing eastwards, but still the storm is going to be trying to feel that west tug a bit, and it's going. But what we can start seeing is this dip in the jet stream, and this, I think it's a cold front sitting along this trough sitting across here. I think this is going to be the cold front that's going to bring a nice break for Florida. That's a high pressure dips away. This cold front's going to make temperatures in Florida a bit less humidity. But what we can start to see is there's going to be a breakdown in the ridge as I remove that line I drew from that trough here. As I go back to my arrow, as we move out, we can start to see that general breakdown in the ridge. This high pressure is breaking down, and we got a general weakness in this part of this area. It all depends on how strong our system is going to be at this point. If the system is more north, it might start to feel that weakness in the ridge, and it'll start to build. Push northwards and maybe impact the Yucatan. The chance of this going into the Gulf of Mexico is pretty slim right now, but it's still a possibility, as we can never say never in the tropics. But what we can see is it's complicating steering factors for sure, as this high pressure is going to try for the next 2-3 days, going to be trying to push the system west, and then this high pressure building over on the west side of the system can be trying to push the system into the south or west of the Central America, like the GFS is predicting. But this is just one model suggestion. As if we take a look at the euro, we can see that in the next 40 hours, we see a storm is sitting right pretty much south of where the GFS is predicting, and if we carry on going the model, we can start to see that it just carries on that west trajectory by that big high pressure sitting over Florida. Draw that on. You can't see it in the 850 millibar level, as the high pressure is pretty strong in the mid to high atmosphere. This is going to be riding this ridge of the west of this ridge, and it's going to dive into Central America and come out over the Eastern Pacific, where it could try and reorganize and strengthen. But if I carry on going out in time, you can see that by next 4 days, this is in Central America weakening and dissipating, as these high mountain terrains can be tearing the low level center apart from the mid level center, and then it'll be dissipating as it goes over. As we can see in the model, by the 5-day mark, it's dissipated and is now entering the Gulf of the Eastern Pacific. Sorry. If we take a look at the H-Wolf model and the 18Z run, this is like 10 millibar wind speed, so this is just above the surface. If we go out in time, we can see the system's becoming more organised. That these mid-level centre and low-level centre becomes more vertically aligned by this point, and now we have a system that can go under significant rapid intensification. As we can see in the model run, that it's intensified, becomes more organised still, and by the 60-hour mark, we probably, well, even before that, we could probably have a hurricane now, and then the H-Wolf. The H-Wolf is taking the system north, as it's a stronger system and it's trying to move the system more northward. But the GFS is bringing it more inward, and then the Euro is more southwards and bringing it in. Just remember that, as a weaker system is going to be going more west, and this north, the stronger system is going to try and push more northward, as it's a stronger system. If we carry on time, we can see that it misses Nicaragua and Honduras without still bringing some impacts to the coastline, maybe some heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds from time to time. And if we carry out going out in the model, we can see that the system's coming across. It's literally probably like 100 miles probably away from the coast of Honduras, and it's just carrying on moving northward, as we see on the model. And by the 120-hour mark, we have a system in the Gulf of Honduras where it's approaching. I can't remember where this part of the region is, but near the Yucatan. If we carry on going down in time, we can see by the 120 mark, we've got a system now approaching the coastline, and this is how far we can go out in the model, but we got a system probably sitting off maybe 200 or 150 miles away from the coastline. I think this is the Yucatan somewhere. If we take a look at the H1, I was saying yesterday that it was being quite budged with the system. It's being budged with the system still, as it's got the same story as the H-dwarf gets it organised mid-level center and lower center become stacked, so we kind of fall deeper falls in pressure. And if we carry on going in time, we can see that Storm is doing the same thing as the H-dwarf did, and it's coming across the coastline of Honduras and Nicaragua, where it could bring some heavy rainfall still to this place, but they don't need this heavy rainfall as they was only dealing with major Hurricane Eta a week ago. What we can see with the H1 and H-Wharf is that they are both in agreement that we're going to, at this point, there's going to be a stronger system. A stronger system that's going to be riding north of Honduras and Nicaragua and impacting the same place from this particular run, the 12Z on the H1 and the 18Z on them, because we could have a strong hurricane approaching anywhere from here. But just remember, I'll quickly go back to the tracks. We do have still some divergence in tracks and intensity, as most of these models are suggesting a strong system still, but not as strong as the H-Dwarf and H1 are suggesting. So this is going to just ride the west to the west, as that big high pressure is sitting over Florida, guiding the system to the west by these arrows. But the H-Dwarf and H1 are coming up with an idea that it's going to come up and carry on going north, as it's a strong system and it's going to just carry on moving northwards. If we take a look at the favourable conditions this system's going to be dealing with, it's going to have a lot of things working in its favour, as I show you the 200 millibar wind. So this is the wind shear potential, and what we can see is we've got a tut feature sitting over here that's going to be helping to move the air away from the system, from this good north outflow boundary. And if I carry out moving in time, you can only see that the system is sitting under this general anticyclonic flow, and we can only see this becomes more established as the system is moving west and gaining strength. As we can see, the system by the 68 hour mark, we've got a good outflow channel here and some more outflow here, and maybe the first signs of some outflow here, as if we've got a generalized anticyclonic flow in this area. So this system is going to have everything working in its favour, so it's more than likely rapid intensification is going to occur. It's when this happens that we're keen to see the track, the intensity, and where this will eventually go. I want to stress though, if it's a weaker system, unfortunately Honduras and Nicaragua are going to be getting affected by this system as well. If it's a weaker system, but if it is a stronger system, the Yucatan and this Gulf of west side of Gulf of Honduras will need to be on watch, as this could sneak past Honduras and come north of the coastline and impact from here. Also, what's going to be working in this favour is, I don't have the chart and the graphs up, but there's going to be some good upper ocean heat content and good sea surface temperatures. So it's got pretty much all the three good conditions it needs to, I don't want to say explode in intensity, but gain intensity quite rapidly. And this is going to be like the 5th or 6th rapidly intensifying Greek letter name, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. But what we can definitely say is that a general anticyclonic flow, the storm's going to produce its own outflow, and it's good sea surface temperatures, good upper ocean heat content. So this storm is going to be an issue for Honduras, Nicaragua, on the west coast of Gulf of Honduras. I just want to show you the graph real quick. I do expect that we will have some warnings up in the next 20 to 24 to 48 hours, as the National Hurricane Center do issue watches and warnings of 40 hours ahead of impacts felt. But what we can see is that cone of uncertainty, as I've suggested by what I've shown in the models. We are seeing in the NHC forecast that there's at the 4 to 5 day mark, there are some uncertainty where the system can be, as it could be hitting Honduras and Nicaragua as a major hurricane, or could sneak north and then impact Belize. So Belize will need to be watching as the system closely, as it could just sneak by the coastline and impact there and get a direct landfall. I think that's everything in today's video. I'll see you in the next one tomorrow. So good night.